What is up, guys? Rick Hackus here with some huge and awesome news about the next big expansion coming to Destiny later this year, the Rise of Iron. Now, this big news is that there won't be any quote year 3 unquote gear coming to the game. Now, what I mean by that, I want to clarify my point right away, is not that there won't be any new weapons and new armor coming to the game with the Rise of Iron. There absolutely will be new weapons and armor introduced into Destiny. But what I mean by no quote year 3 weapons is that there won't need to be a distinction between year 3 and year 2 weapons in the game. In fact, if you really look at why we call year 2 weapons, it's actually not because they were introduced in year 2. We make this huge distinction. There is a huge line in the sand between year 2 gear and year 1 gear. Again, not because the year 2 gear arrived in year 2. In fact, we have year 2 armamentariums, you have year 2 Suros regimes, you have year 2 a lot of exotics that are actually introduced into Destiny in year 1. We refer to them as year 2 because they have one simple huge addition to their arsenal, and that is Infusion. Year 2 weapons and what is referred to as year 2 gear always has the ability to infuse it to a higher light level. This means that any gear that you want to use out to the end game, as long as it has infusion, you can. If you got a scout rifle you really like, you can keep infusing it and get it to the absolute max light level. Now, this wasn't always the case, and we have a lot of new Guardians with us that do not remember the olden days of weapons. In fact, when the Dark Below, the first expansion, came out for Destiny, it was very distinguishable which weapons were pre-Dark Below and which were post-Dark Below. In fact, the pre-Dark Below weapons spawned at lower light levels of lower levels and immediately became irrelevant as soon as the Dark Below expansion came out. This was seen as a terrible idea, and luckily in the House of Wolves they changed the system and introduced Etheric Light, which lets you bring up the light level of most pieces of gear to let you use them in the endgame. Finally, when the Taken King came out, all of the previous weapons were essentially left behind, and the new Infusion and overall light score were introduced. The fear of many in the community, including myself, was that all of these weapons, just like when the Taken King came out, and it really did abandon most of the year 1 weapons, that when the Rise of Iron, the next large expansion, comes out, there was still the, hanging possibility that year 3 weapons could be introduced, and the year 2 weapons would again be abandoned in favor of a new leveling system. But luckily, there won't be any quote year 3 weapons, there won't be entirely new weapons. Infusion is here to stay, thank goodness. Now, this has been confirmed by the Rise of Iron creative director Chris Barrett, who told Eurogamer in a recent interview that, quote, "There'll be no changes to Infusion. We introduced that with the Taken King, and I think it's something that players really loved. So anything from the Taken King will be able to be infused up to the new light level, and it will work the same way." Again, all of the weapons currently in the game, all of the year 2 weapons, will stay viable weapons in the game as the Rise of Iron and any other future updates or DLCs come out for Destiny. And again, this is huge news. This is awesome news. I am so happy they aren't introducing yet another new leveling system and making all of the current guns irrelevant, because that was a real possibility, so I'm glad that it has been confirmed that it's not happening. So what this means for you guys is to make sure you don't go around deleting weapons and armor to make room for all of the new gear coming with the Rise of Iron, because your current gear will still be very relevant when the new DLC launches. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed and found this information informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating or sharing this video. Now, if you want to see more Destiny content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.